The wedding budget. The most important sheet in this dashboard. Without a budget, there's no wedding. So, pay close attention to your inputs and don't change anything you're warned not to. To navigate this page, start by making sure your wedding budget contributions are correct from cell J7. Your initial budget is populated from your initial input in the cover page. But if you're lucky enough to get a donation from loved ones or you have any investments or forms of income that you'll be able to allocate to the total, type it in the respective cell. Let's say we received a £5,000 investment. We would put that here, and that would change the total below. But please note the total budget won't change, as you can see from cell E7. This increase in affordability is our little secret, captured only in this table and in the total bar beneath. Contributions actuals. Why? Because it's all in the psychology. Your budget shouldn't change just because you've come into some cash. Be disciplined with the amount you set out to use, and only use the rest if absolutely necessary. How to use the sheet. In the first phase of planning, set out an expected cost. In this example, let's say that you are only willing to pay £19,000 for the venue. You would then include that expected cost in cell F13 and continue to input your expected costs for all the budget categories listed in column B, and so on. Feel free to override or change your categories as needed. Please note, however, that these are intended to be high-level costs, and the detailed breakdown of your budget can be input in the expenses tracking table in rows 32 and below. In this venue example, you can include the specific component breakdown of reception, ceremony, staff costs, etc. in cells D35 to 39. Let's say we want to allocate this £19,000 venue budget as follows. Reception, £12,000. Ceremony, £3,000. Staff, £2,500. Parking, £500. And others, £1,000. You should notice that the budget remaining field in cell D40 moved towards 0. You can use this automatic cell to keep track of your remaining spend to ensure you stay within your budget. Right. Now, in the second phase of planning, you start to establish your actual costs, and that's where the expenses table comes in rows 32 and below. In here, begin to input your actual costs. You don't have to wait until you have all your actual costs to begin this. You can update as you go along to see how much budget you have remaining or not. So, back to our venue example. Let's say we managed to get a bargain and the actual reception cost came in at £8,000. We would input the £8,000 in EF35. We would continue to do the same for the other categories. Ceremony, £2,500. Staff, £3,500. Parking, £1,000. And others, £2,000. The budget remaining field shows that we have £2,000 remaining which we can allocate elsewhere in our budget. You can go ahead and do this for all of your budget categories. As you start to populate, you should notice the actuals in G13 to 17 should change. You can use this overall expenses category table as your golden source to manage your overall budget. Vendor finances. Moving on to the specific vendor finances, the same approach applies. You can start to input your high-level vendor costs in U19 to 28. Once your confirmed costs have materialized, you can start to input these into the total amount field in Q33. You can also keep a record of deposit and payment due dates to stay on top of your outgoings. And voila, there you have it. An effective budget plan.